Hi, my name is Muhammad Aiman Hakim bin Abdurrahman and my number matric is 283064. Today I will present about the introduction of the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on transport and logistics industry. On December 31, 2019, the Wuhan Municipal Health Commission reported a cluster of pneumonia cases which led to the discovery of the COVID-19 virus. It was later revealed that it was caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus and was labeled coronavirus disease. The virus spread at rapid pace and it wasn't long before all countries began to identify the COVID-19 virus within their borders. The infection spread so rapidly that the World Health Organization had to declare the epidemic a public health emergency on January 30, 2020. Many countries were obliged to impose a lockdown due to the high rate of transmission. This lockdown also meant that most economic sectors were completely shut down. Only critical sectors such as health, distribution and service were permitted to operate. This has resulted in a near entire shutdown of a country's economy because enterprises within the country were unable to fully operate. The global economy suffered as a result of the shutdown because many businesses were unable to operate. India transport and logistics industry impacted after the COVID-19 pandemic. Transport mobility has been significantly hindered as a result of the COVID-19 induced lockdown measures, which has also hampered foreign trade and given gasoline to the fire in the logistics sector. India's air freight volume is predicted to decline by 17 to 20% in 2020 to 2021. Figure 1 showed that air freight volume has recovered more quickly since April 2020, despite a 45% drop in air freight volume from April to September 2020 compared to the prior period. Due to significant drop in freight volume, major air cargo carriers have had to discontinue services including empty sailings between India and the Middle East, Europe and the Mediterranean. Figure 2 show that both international and domestic cargo traffic flows decreased from April to December 2019 to 2020 to April to December 2020 to 2021. Overall freight traffic has decreased by 9% while coastal cargo traffic has decreased 15.1% as compared to overseas cargo traffic over the same time period. As a result, the COVID-19 pandemic-related limitations have had a significant impact on cargo traffic volume at India's 12 major ports. This results in direct short-term effects such as reduced production, supply chain collapse, inland logistic confusion, and offline consumption contraction, as well as indirect medium to long-term effects such as reduced demand for a raw material. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Muhammad Alif Akbar. My metric number is 283698. Today I want to explain about infrastructure and logistics in Bolivia, especially in Southeast America. Bolivia have a total investment in infrastructure has fluctuated between 3.79% and 5.12% of its GDP for years between 2014 and 2017. The highest area of investment is notoriously road transport, averaging 90% of the total infrastructure investment for these years. Investment, to a much lower extent, in rail have been constant at around 50 million US dollar per year, and airport constant as well at a lower amount between 25 and 30 million for the last years. At first, I want to explain about road and railway transport in Bolivia. Correlated to the investment patterns, Bolivia's main mode of transport is by road. The road length has grown consistently from 56,530 kilometers in 2000 to 89,397 kilometers in 2016. Furthermore, in 2017, the road network had a 70% increase in its extension, which occurred by the most part at the municipal level, and another 25% increase in 2018, reaching 191,545 kilometers. The second I want to explain about fluvial and maritime transport. Besides the Titicaca Lake, there are two fluvial navigable systems in Bolivia. The Amazon River Basin 500 and 728 kilometers to the northwest and the Plata River Basin is 65 kilometers in the southeast, which is integrated to the Paraguay and Paraná waterway, making it the most important fluvial access in Bolivia. Lastly, I want to talk about air transportation in Bolivia. Bolivia counts with five main international airports: La Paz, Cochabamba, Viru, Tarija, Yacuiba, and 24 smaller airports for general aviation. As of 2019, there were 131,978 square meters of airport terminal surface and 460,768 square meters of platform in the country. There are two observable concentrations of airport infrastructure. First, in the department of Beni with 63 kilometers of the total length of runways, which has 11 general aviation airports, and the department of Santa Cruz with a total of 91 kilometers of runways. Next part, I wanna explain about how to government survive on transport and logistics during pandemic in Malaysia. The government has allowed logistics and transport services that support essential production and manufacturing sector to continue, albeit with reduced manpower. Second, wall of society approach. Onto this end, both the government and private sector have a role to play in supporting each other. And lastly, some industries deemed essential, including those involved in the production of medical gloves and even food, have been asked to scale down production.
My name is Muhammad Arfan Putra Widodo and my matrix number is 288992. Today I'm going to present about the impact of COVID-19 on our transportation industry around the world. The COVID-19 pandemic is one of the events that has harmed most industries in the world, one of which is the transportation industry. Air transport. Air transport represents a small share of GDP but is closely linked to the activities of the other sectors. A dramatic drop in demand for passenger air transport due to COVID-19 pandemic and containment measures is threatening the viability of many firms in both the air transport sector and the rest of the aviation industry, with many jobs at stake. Also, transportation. Ports have been closed due to quarantine periods in order to ensure the well-being of workers, and various conditions have been imposed. For instance, the ban of marine vessels in certain countries, which has demanded such vessels in the water have no destination port to go to. Road transportation. This report updates IRU's two previous reports on the impacts of COVID-19 on the commercial road transport sector from June and November 2020. A full year into pandemic, global mobility and supply chains remain disrupted. IRU calls on governments to take immediate action like coordinate pandemic response at global cross-border level, deploy targeted financial support measures, use digital tools that already exist, including ETR and ECMR, prioritize commercial drivers in national vaccination programs. Rail transportation. The methods of COVID-19 transmission in rail transit systems were summarized through the analysis of the transmission characteristic of the virus. In this way, the vulnerable spots on presentation in the system were determined, and environment external and internal threats were emphasized. The global oil and gas pipeline sector has been facing several hardships due to the COVID-19 pandemic, demand destruction, and weak global economic outlook. However, with the recurring nature of pandemic, pipeline operators globally might encounter an uphill task to fully recover from its devastating impacts. Transportation challenges in Malaysia. The logistics industry faced the traffic bottlenecks and inefficiencies, the loss in productivity hours. Last but not least, the operating costs are higher for logistic industry in the costs of manpower, fuel, and warehouse rental. On the other hand, the government recognized that the logistic industry is a vital component in the economic performance. And the last is conclusion. The paper presented a theoretical analysis of the of the impact COVID-19 on the logistics and transportation industry. An analysis of the negative and positive effects of the pandemic in the sector has been carried out. Despite the relatively high level of development in the logistics and transportation industry, the COVID-19 pandemic has severely affected it. The development of the logistics and transportation sector should include automation processes and the use of and harmonization of smart technologies. Thank you.